Champ down.
Yes, I didn't see him. What are you looking so sad about, Champ?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm just getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I was on a Formula One tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
Would you be on the tour?
Salute. Can everybody hear me? Miss Cass, you listening? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, please. Oh, yeah, she's not even listening. Good help is hard to find. Let me see. Bear with me, please. I was having some technical difficulties getting started today, but I think we're good now. We're going to start in a minute. She's out there talking on the phone to somebody. That's supposed to be my technical difficulty expert. But let's see. Miss Cass, you listening? Give me a thumbs up or something. Knock on the door. Okay, well, no help coming from that quarter, so let me see if I can do it by myself. Let's see. Can anybody in the chat give me a thumbs up if anybody's still in there can hear me, please? Then we can get started. Having trouble with my microphone. Testing. Testing. Okay, we're good. Okay. Yeah, let's get started with today's show. It's going to be the first world champion in every weight class. I'll be working off the phone. Okay. But salute, how's everybody this Monday afternoon? Starting off another big week of boxing history. Sorry for the delay. We had some technical difficulties there, but I think we're good now. Okay. Would like a thumbs up from somebody if it's okay, but I'm going to continue on. How's everybody today? Like we got BVO Sports TV, Mike Rim, the Drunk Irishman in the building so far. Salute, gentlemen. Let's get started with our fight of the day. Okay, yeah, we still got time to get it in. Had two fights of the day. This was going to be why they call Thomas Hearns the Hitman. Okay, so let's get into that fight of the day. Okay, the first one was Thomas Hearns versus Pipino Cuevas. Okay, this fight was August the 2nd, 1980. Thomas Hearns versus Pipino Cuevas, August 2nd, 1980. How was everybody's weekend? We're going to go through all of the 17 weight classes today and look at the first world champion in each of them, okay? From heavyweight all the way down to minimum weight and all of the other 15 in between, okay? So let's get started. Thomas Hearns versus Pipino Cuevas. We're taking a look at why Thomas Hearns. These two fights right here epitomizes why they call him the Hitman. Roberto Duran and Pepino Cuevas. Okay? Now, his first fight was 45 years ago in 1980, when the Hitman Thomas Hearns won his first world title with a destruction of Pepino Cuevas. I mean, a destruction of Pepino. It would prove to be the first of many world titles won and many great nights for Thomas Hearns. It was 45 years ago when the great Thomas Hearns captured his first world title. It was August 2nd in Detroit, when local hero to millions, Hearns absolutely destroyed the feared and brutally powerful Pepino Cuevas. The Mexican fighter was as tough as he was powerful. Cuevas had never been down in his career. He was making the 11th defense of the WBA welterweight title he had held for 4 years, and he was deemed by plenty of people to have too much experience for the 21-year-old Thomas Hearns. Okay? Coming in, they thought Pepino would have had too much experience for the young Hitman. But wow, were they wrong. Now, Cuevas, born tough, like so many Mexican warriors, had been fighting since the age of 14, and he was a destroyer in the ring. Broken bones are a regular thing when he was in action. His opponent often going to the hospital. The Hearns had attracted a huge following in Detroit due to the wreckage of discarded foes he had left in his wake. Tall and skinny, in fact, a freak for the 147-pound weight class, the 6'1" Hearns had been a beautiful boxer as an amateur before Emanuel Stewart turned him into a lethal punching machine, a hitman. Emanuel Stewart took him from a light-hitting boxer to the hitman. Take care of business and then leave town was how Hearns would describe his job. 45 years ago, Hearns' job was that of taking Cuevas' belt. Could he do it? Man, could he do it. Cuevas may have frightened plenty of his previous challengers, yet against the wiry, solidly muscled rival who stood glaring at him across the ring with the meanness and intent of an Old West gunslinger, it was Cuevas who appeared intimidated. And the fight turned out to be a slaughter. Turned out to be an absolute slaughter. Okay? Hearns began by firing out his superb left jab. Then he fired in not his fiercer right hand, but his left hook. Cuevas would be wobbled, hurt, and stunned a number of times during the opening 3 minutes. Cuevas was not accustomed to being dominated in such a way. And then in the second round, it was over. Hearns was in total charge. Cuevas, as would be the case when another Latino great met Hearns years later, was unable to get anywhere near close enough to do his thing. Okay? Hearns fired in a savage right, the bomb landing flush on Cuevas' jaw. The defending champion's entire body lurched, inviting Hearns to blast off with another right, and then Pepino fell hard on his face. Incredibly, Cuevas got back to his feet before the count of 10. His corner, however, had seen enough and stopped the fight. Yeah, they had seen enough. Stopped it. There's this corner right there. stopping the action. They had seen enough. Not that. There you go. There's his trainer stopping the fight. Hearns had done it. The shy, softly spoken kid who came up in the hot fires of the Kronk Gym had made Detroit proud. He had fulfilled his lifelong ambition, and he was now perhaps the best welterweight in the world. Now, battles with Sugar Ray Leonard is the Hitman. Battles of Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, and Wilfredo Benitez would follow, as with the winning of 4 more world titles for the Hitman. Okay? That's the first one. We're looking at 2 fights today that epitomizes why Thomas Hearns is called the Hitman. Okay? Here's the second one. Second one is Thomas Hearns versus Roberto Duran. Okay? 2 fights of the day today. Both the Hitman, showing why he's called the Hitman. Thomas the Hitman Hearns, that is. Okay, the next one is Thomas Hearns versus Roberto Duran. This one took place June 15th, 1984. 41 years ago. Okay? 41 years ago. Okay, hope I'm not talking to myself here. Oh, Lord.
48 period. Started in 2000.
Okay. This is the next one. Hearns versus Duran. Little technical difficulties starting out today, but we're going to get it together. We always do. Okay. Yeah, then we're going to get to the, it's going to get much better when we get to the best fighter in each weight division. Coming right up. As soon as we get this Hearns Duran fight in. How's everybody this Monday afternoon? Okay, here we go. Now this one was 41 years ago, when 2 all-time greats collided and the winner executed an electrifying hit. Thomas Hearns versus Roberto Duran. Okay, this one was in 84, I believe. Yeah, 41 years ago. Okay, excuse me for a minute. Let me check with Miss Cass, because I don't even know if I'm coming through. Oh, never mind. Want something done, do it yourself. Testing. Never mind. Want something done? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Okay. All right. Thomas Hearns, Roberto Duran now. Second up our fights of the day. We just taking a look why Thomas Hearns is the Hitman. Now, some knockouts never get old, nor do they ever seem to lose their shock factor. Such a knockout is the one that took place in Las Vegas, Nevada, 41 years ago. It was at Caesar's Palace, once the big fight venue, where 2 all-time greats collided. Thomas the Hitman Hearns, the reigning WBC champion at 154 pounds, versus the Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran, the former lightweight, welterweight, and junior middleweight champion. They met and fans braced for something special. Yeah, Everybody knew something special was going to go on in this fight. The ring. Here we go. Yeah, everybody knew something special was going to happen. The Herbs had lost only to Sugar Ray Leonard at that point, while Duran, who was coming off a squeaker of a 15-round decision loss to current middleweight king Marvin Hagler, was the only man to have handed Sugar Ray Leonard a loss, right? Hearns' only loss was to Leonard. Thank you, Miss Cass. And Durant and Leonard's only loss was to Durant. So it struck plenty of people as kind of strange and unrealistic when Hearns predicted a second-round knockout win over the Panamanian legend. Yeah, Hearns predicted second-round knockout. Now, Hearns, all business, both in the ring and out of the ring, was not really a man for pre-fight predictions, nor was he a man who came up with much, if any, trash talk. But Hearns, who had not stopped the foe in almost 2 years, his right hand having undergone surgery, was firm. He would ice Roberto Duran, and he would do it quickly. Okay? Hearns said he's stopping the hands of stone, and he's going to do it fast. Okay? But I think the hands of stone said he was going to stop Hearns in the first round. 04. Hearns, I say in 2 rounds. Duran says in 4 rounds. Hearns said before the fight, when discussing how long the legalized violence would last. Hearns added, I have never in my entire career predicted a round, but for this fight, I'm going to show to the world that I have those abilities too. I feel there's a lot of great things about me that the public does not yet know. The Hitman. Okay? And there's the Hitman. The June 15th, 1984 showdown was dubbed Malice at the Palace. And 32-year-old Roberto Duran, coming in with a record of 77 wins, 5 losses, 58 by knockout, entered the ring first, followed by the Detroit Star. A sellout crowd was on hand to see what would happen, whether or not it would be a great and special fight. It was special, all right, even if brutally one-sided. It was short and special. You know how to say short and sweet? This one was short and special. Okay? 25-year-old Thomas Hearns came in, 38 wins, 1 loss, 32 knockouts. Was making his predictions stick. In fact, he almost ended the fight in the opening round, just as he decked Duran twice. Okay? In the first round. With Hearns also inflicting a cut at the side of Duran's eye. The fighter turned into a slaughter. Hearns on fire and determined, as he would say later, to return to being the Hitman. Because remember, he hadn't stopped nobody in 2 years. Determined in this fight to return to the Hitman, jumped right on Duran again at the start of round 2. Backing Duran into the ropes and leaving him with no place to go. Hearns then landed a blockbuster right hand to the chin. The split second the bomb landed, Duran was out on his feet, and he fell in slow motion, face first to the canvas. It was over, just as Hearns had predicted it would be, inside of 2 rounds. Okay? The Hitman's prediction came true. He said inside of 2 rounds, and he got Duran out of there inside of 2 rounds. Now, Hearns might have scored 1 or 2 even more devastating knockouts during a career that was full of highlight reel fights, but I can't think of anyone more devastating than that one against Duran right there. Okay? In short, I can't think of any more devastating than those two we talked about today, Cuevas and Duran. In short, the Thomas Hearns who absolutely annihilated Roberto Duran, a fighting warrior of the highest order, and one who would never before and never again be rendered unconscious in a fight. That Hearns might have been pretty close to unbeatable. This was Hearns at his most vicious. This was Hearns at his most accurate and power-packed. This was Thomas Hearns at his dazzling peak right there. That Hearns. It's worth remembering also that Hearns never lost a single fight at 154 pounds. Never lost at 154. Okay? Okay, so now let's get into it. So yeah, we had Thomas, there's this, and there's the Hitman. There's your winner of the two fights of the day. Thomas the Hitman Hearns. Okay. Okay, excuse me for 1 second, please. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, my microphone is somewhere kind of way blocked on the laptop. I hate using this phone, but we got to get the show in. So, the first world champion in every weight class. We're gonna go from heavyweight on down to minimum weight. Heavyweight unlimited to minimum weight, which is 105. Okay, 105 pounders. Getting everything situated here. Glasses, you get over there. Okay. All right, let's get started. How's everybody this afternoon? Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Everybody hit the like, please subscribe if you haven't. I think we got the Drunk Irishman, Mike William, BBO Sports TV, Miss Cass in the building. Appreciate y'all. Okay. All right. The first world champion in each weight class to today. All right. Now in boxing, a weight class is a measurement weight range for boxers. Now in the early 19th century, there were no standard weight classes. Okay. In 1823, a publication called the Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue listed the weight limit for a lightweight at 168 pounds, while another publication called Sportsman's Slang gave 154 pounds as a lightweight limit. Any fighter who didn't make the lightweight limit, whichever one you went by, was considered a heavyweight, which was the only other weight class at that time, which of course was unlimited. So it was only two weight classes. If you weighed whichever one, lightweight was either 168 or 154. Anything above those were heavyweight. Okay? Only two weight classes. So of course you had a lot of mismatches. You might have somebody, fight 120 pounds, fighting somebody that weigh 160, give them up 40 pounds. Then the other weight class, heavyweight, you might have somebody 175 fighting somebody weigh 245. 255, give them up 70, 80 pounds. So these size mismatches were dangerous to the smaller boxer, right? And plus, they were unsatisfying for the fans. Okay? Dangerous for the smaller man, and the fans wasn't happy with these mismatches. Seeing somebody in there 40 pounds, give them up 40 pounds, getting all beat up. So, national and world titles could only become recognized if standard weight classes were agreed upon. In 1909, the National Sporting Club of London, also known as the NSC, established foundational weight classes for boxing, which were the first widely accepted use of the original weight classes. And in 1920, the Walker Law in New York adopted these standards for the United States. And that set the structure for modern boxing weight classes, with additional divisions added later. In the 1920 Walker Law also established the New York State Athletic Commission, which is one of the two major sanctioning bodies back then, along with the NBA. Okay? So, yeah. So now, let's look at these original weight classes that they established. Okay? Now, all of the weight classes we currently have today in boxing were not part of the original classes. More have gradually been added over the past century. So, the original weight classes were. Now, boxing has its own original 8 weight classes, okay? Also known as the traditional, classic, or glamour divisions. These divisions are the more prominent and widely recognized weight divisions in the sport. And the original 8 were flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. Okay, those were the original classes. So then let's talk about the tweener divisions, TWEE-NER, tweener, like in between. They came in later, gradually. They didn't all come at once. Yeah, the tweener divisions. So the tweener divisions are mostly recognized with either a junior, super, or light in front of their name, such as like light flyweight or junior featherweight or super middleweight. Always got a light, super, or junior, mostly junior or super in front of the name. These are the tweener divisions, okay? They took many years to be fully recognized as legitimate weight classes in boxing. These divisions were not totally recognized by all the major sanctioning bodies until as late as the 1980s. Oh Lord, what happened to the music, man? Excuse me for a minute. I hope I'm not talking to myself. Oh my goodness. Background music. There we go. I don't know what happened. It's Monday and it's starting out rough. Okay. Let me check. Sorry for this noise, but that phone picks up everything. Let me check. There we go. Yeah, we're still good. Okay. So yeah, the tweener divisions. They took many years to be fully recognized as legitimate weight divisions in boxing. These divisions were not totally recognized by all the major sanctioning bodies until as late as the 1980s, just 40 years ago. And they had their current names established by the major boxing sanctioning bodies in 2015. So let's get into it now. Let's talk about the first world champion in each weight division now, okay? Starting out with heavyweight, unlimited to minimum weight, 105, and all the other 15 in between. Heavyweight, okay? That's John L. Sullivan. Of course, he was the first champion in the heavyweight division. John L. Okay? We're going to do each weight division all the way down. John L. Sullivan, known simply as John L. among his supporters, and dubbed the Boston Strong Boy by the media. He was an American heavyweight from Boston, Massachusetts. He is recognized as the first heavyweight champion of glove boxing, de facto reigning from February 7th, 1882 to September 7th, 1892, a 10-year reign. He is also generally recognized as the last heavyweight champion of bare knuckle boxing under the London prize ring rules, being a cultural icon of the late 19th century in America, arguably the first boxing superstar and one of the world's highest paid athletes of his era. Okay? And so yeah, remember, he was the last heavyweight champion of bare knuckles boxing and the first of glove boxing. Now, John L. Sullivan's boxing style was a brutal, aggressive brawler slugger, known for overwhelming opponents with sheer power, relentless pressure, and incredible stamina, bridging bare knuckles fighting with glove boxing. He had devastating one-punch knockout power, but was also a formidable high-volume puncher, able to wear opponents down over the course of a fight. He relied on natural toughness and force over complex footwork. He was famous for his Boston Strong Boy persona and ability to take immense punishment while also dishing it out. He transitioned the sport from the rough and tumble brawling style to the more scientific era of glove boxing that we know today. John L. did, okay? Okay, so first, he was the first heavyweight champion of glove boxing, John L. Sullivan. Okay? And Sullivan became the first ever heavyweight champion on February 7th, 1882, when he defeated Paddy Ryan in Mississippi City, Mississippi. This victory marked the beginning of his reign as the last bare knuckles heavyweight champion and the first glove heavyweight champion under London prize ring rules. His reign lasted until 1892, when he lost his belt to James J. Jeffries. Okay? First heavyweight champion, John L. Sullivan. Okay, we go to light heavyweight. I mean, not light heavyweight, cruiserweight. Cruiserweight is next. Okay? Mike Mazik in the middle. What's up, Mike Mazik? First heavyweight champion in each division. I mean, first champion in each division. We just did heavyweight, John L. Sullivan. Okay? Mike Mazik. Mike Rim is already in here. I wrote down Mike Rim. Okay. A salute to Mike Mazik, Mike Rim, the Drunk Irishman, and BVO TV, Sports TV, and Miss Cass. You can catch BVO Sports TV Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. That's right, 8 o'clock tonight. Okay? Yeah. Cruiserweight is Marvin Campbell. Weight limit of 200 pounds. And there's Marvin on the left there. Okay, Marvin Campbell competed from 1974 to 1990. He had a 16-year pro career. He was the first cruiserweight world champion, having held the WBC title in 1980 and the IBF title from 1983 to 1984, also being the inaugural IBF champion. Now, Campbell is from Ronan, Montana, and he's a Native American as a member of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes from the Flathead Indian Reservation. Okay? So Campbell, his left-handed parrying style created stylistic challenges for many of his opponents. He was too tall for the lower weight classes and too lean to see creditable heavyweight parries. Campbell was a natural fit for the then newly formed cruiserweight division, set at from 176 to 190 pounds at its inception, later to go to 200, where it currently is. Now, after After the new division was created in 1979, Camel fought Mate Parlow on December 8th, 1979 for the WBC title in the first ever Cruiserweight Championship fight. But guess what happened? The fight ended in a draw. So the Cruiserweight division still didn't have an inaugural champion. But of course they had an immediate rematch. Neither fighter was crazy enough to fight somebody else and then get beat. Then they wouldn't be in the championship fight. So 3 months later, they had an immediate rematch. And Camel became the inaugural Cruiserweight champion on March 31st, 1980, when he defeated Parlow this time in the rematch by a 15-round unanimous decision. Draw in the first fight, unanimous decision in the second fight, immediate rematch. They had to have a champion, okay? So let's go to, Cruiserweight, Marvin Camel. Go to light heavyweight. We talked about him Friday, but not too much because I knew he was going to talk about him today. Because we talked about light heavyweight Friday, remember? Jack Root. There's Jack. Now, most of these guys are way back in the day, because they're the first champion. But for some of the tweener divisions, like the juniors and super, some of them are from the modern era. Because some of the junior and super divisions weren't created until the modern era. So we do have some modern era fighters on this list. For light heavyweight, we go way back. Jack Root. Light heavyweight is 175, of course, is the weight limit. Jack Root. Now, Jack Root was an American boxer, but he was born in Forhelst, Czech Republic. Root was the first ever world light heavyweight champion, as well as a challenger for the world heavyweight title. He was born in the Czech Republic, but he fought out of Chicago, Illinois. He was elected into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2011. Now, Root was considered a lanky and very crafty boxer. He was known for his technical skill and intelligent approach in the ring, rather than being a powerful puncher. Historians noted his superior technical abilities, suggesting he did not get hit as often as some might have thought, highlighting his defensive skills. Okay? So Root became champion in 1903 when he defeated Kid McCoy. The fight was billed as the inaugural light heavyweight title fight. Root was later defeated by George Gardner, who is considered the first undisputed light heavyweight champion. Now, there are records that suggest Joe Choinsky may have been the first light heavyweight champion, although Choinsky never accepted the title, and the division had not been officially created. Okay, going through the sources I have, it was Jack Root. Okay, some people say it's Joe Choinsky, but it's Jack Root. Damn it, Jack Root is the first light heavyweight champion. Okay, 1903. Okay, let's go to super middleweight. See, this is a guy from up in the modern era. Super middleweight wasn't created until the modern era. Of course, super middleweight limit is 168, right? 168 pounds. Murray Sutherland, that's Murray on the left there. On the left, but he got somebody in trouble. It looks like a right cross, don't it? Yeah. Murray Sutherland. Now, Murray Sutherland is a former Scottish boxer from Edinburgh, Scotland. He competed in the super middleweight division. He was boxing's inaugural, lineal, and first undisputed world super middleweight champion, having won the inaugural IBF version of the title in 1984. Okay? Now, Sutherland is also a successful boxing trainer, having trained well-known boxers such as Eric Esch. Eric Esch is more well-known as Butterbean. Sutherland also trained Rocky Gander. Now, Sutherland was primarily an outboxer who utilized constant movement and precise point scoring. He fought in an orthodox stance. His overall style can be characterized by movement and a high punch output. Okay? And he became officially recognized. He became the first officially recognized super middleweight champion on March 28, 1984, by defeating Ernie Singletary by a 15-round unanimous decision. Now, while there were other earlier fights for the title at 168, Sutherland's victory is considered the first internationally accepted championship. Murray Sutherland, super middleweight. Okay, we go to middleweight, 160, and that's what one of the original 8. So we go back into the old days for this one. Super middleweight. Middleweight, 160. John Edward Kelly was an Irish-born American boxer from Kildare, Ireland. He was better known as the nonpareil Jack Dempsey and was the first holder of the World Middleweight Championship. Now, he was the first Jack Dempsey. We had the better known heavyweight Jack Dempsey came along later in the 20s. And he named himself after this Jack Dempsey, the non-pareil Jack Dempsey. Now, the non-pareil Jack Dempsey held the title from 1884 to 1891, 7 years. He was nicknamed non-pareil because of his reputation of being unbeatable. The non-pareil Jack Dempsey was known for a scientific, clever, and agile boxing style. They utilized skill, strategy, and guile, often employing a quick and accurate left jab. This stood in contrast to the more common brawling tactics of the era he fought in, right? So despite his scientific approach, he possessed terrific punching power with both hands. He also displayed versatility and toughness. He won the middleweight championship by knocking out George Four James in 1884. That's the fight that made him the inaugural middleweight champion. Now, prior to this, in 1867, Tom Chandler had won the first middleweight championship fight in the bare knuckle era against Dooney Harris. But glove boxing, it was a non-pareil Jack Dempsey. Let's go to junior middleweight. Weight limit of 154. 154. Junior middleweight. First world champion in every weight class. And that's Denny Moyer. That's up toward the modern era too. Some of the supers and juniors weren't created until the modern era. So we got some modern era fighters on this list. Denny Moyer. Now, Denny Moyer was an American professional boxer from Portland, Oregon. He held the world junior middleweight title between 1962 and 1963. He finished his career with a record of 98 wins and 38 losses. Moyer was the first recognized junior middleweight champion in boxing. Okay, period, because junior middleweight wasn't around during the bare knuckles era. So he was the first champion, period, in boxing. Denny Moyer, junior middleweight. Now, Moyer was a technically masterful counterpuncher, known for his strength on the inside and an effective left jab. He fought from an orthodox stance and notably had an unblemished record of never being knocked down in his career of 140 total fights. Okay? His style and technical mastery allowed him to have a long, successful career and defeat many notable opponents, including splitting 2 professional fights with the legendary Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah, that's him and Sugar Ray right there, as a matter of fact. Yeah, split. Fought Sugar Ray twice and beat him once. Okay? Denny Moyer. Al Booger. Salute Al Booger. We're looking at the first world champion in each weight class today. We're down to junior middleweight. We're going to go back and do a quick review at the end. But right now, junior middleweight. Just who they were and a little history on them and their style. But salute Al Booger. How was your weekend? Well, your junior middleweight was Denny Moyer, and he had 2 fights with Sugar Ray. Won one of them. Mm-hmm. So Moyer won the title in 1962 by defeating Joey Giambra on points. And this title fight officially established the 154-pound weight class. Moyer's victory is widely considered the inaugural championship of the division. After one successful defense, Moyer lost the title in 1963 to Ralph Dupas on points. Okay, let's go to welterweight. 147 weight limit. First champion at welterweight. That's a guy named Paddy Duffy, right there. Paddy Duffy. You know, all the original 80s way back there. Considered the first welterweight champion, Paddy Duffy, like John L. Sullivan, was an Irish American from Boston, Massachusetts. His first fight at age 19 was a knockout victory over Skin Darty in 1884. Okay? Now, Duffy won his first 4 fights before fighting 3 draws with Paddy Sullivan. After 1 loss in a fight with Jack McGee, Duffy never lost again in his career. He fought in Baltimore, Washington, and Philadelphia in 1886 and 1887 before returning to Boston, where he entered a 4-fight series with Jack McGinty. Their first 2 fights ended in draws. Duffy won a 6th rounder by decision in their 3rd fight and solidified his reputation by knocking McGinty out in the 4th fight. At that point, Duffy had a professional record of 21 wins with just 1 loss. Okay? Now, Duffy's boxing style was primarily an orthodox stance, and he was known for being a hard-hitting fighter with a high knockout percentage. His final record included 18 knockout victories out of 33 wins. Duffy was also known for durability and aggressiveness. Okay? Now, Duffy became the first world welterweight champion in 1888. At that time, the division's weight limit was 142 pounds. His opponent in the first championship fight of the division was Tom Meadows, who was the Australian welterweight champion at the time. The 2 fighters battled for 45 rounds before Duffy went on a foul. Wow. I guess Meadows must have got tired and went on a foul to end it. Yeah, he went on a foul after 45 rounds. Woo. Now, after the fight that made him the first welterweight champion, Duffy never fought again. He died in 1890 at the age of 25. After Paddy died, the division became dormant and did not come to prominence again until December of 1892, when mysterious Billy Smith and Danny Weedham fought for the vacant title. And I couldn't find out who won. But yeah, after Duffy died, it went dormant for a while. And the next title fight was in 1892. Okay, 2 years after Duffy died. Let's go to junior welterweight now. Okay, junior welterweight. Oh boy, working on the phone today. There we go. Junior welterweight. That's Pinky Mitchell. Pinky Mitchell was the first champion at junior welterweight. Okay. 140 weight limit. Okay. Yeah, and then after this time permitting, we're gonna look at the longest title reign, since we're talking about titles today. The fighters with the longest title reigns. Not in each division, but like the 10 longest title reigns ever. Okay? So Pinky Mitchell was 140, junior welterweight. Pinky Mitchell was an American boxer from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who became the first champion in the junior welterweight division in 1922. And he held that title until 1926, a 4-year reign, right? In his impressive pro career, he fought Oakland Jimmy Duffy and champions Rocky Kansas, James Red Herring, Benny Leonard, Lou Tender, Jack Britton, Mussie Callahan, and Joe Dundee. Pinky had a very good resume. Now, Pinky Mitchell's boxing style was characterized by a more lethargic, defensive approach compared to the all-action style of his brother, Richie Mitchell. Okay? Pinky fought from an orthodox stance, and being less aggressive than his brother also made Pinky less popular with the local Milwaukee fans. He still often took on top competition, with many of his fights going the distance. And Pinky Mitchell became the first world champion of the junior welterweight division in November of 1922, winning the inaugural title by a newspaper decision, holding it until 1926. Wow, newspaper decision. Okay, lightweight, 135, the first lightweight champion. Okay. There we go. Jack McAuliffe. Yeah, that's Jack, the first lightweight champion of the world. Jack McAuliffe. 135. Jack McAuliffe was an Irish boxer from Cork, Ireland. He fought mostly out of Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Nicknamed the Napoleon of the Ring, McAuliffe is one of only a handful of world boxing champions to retire without a loss. He was the first boxer to hold a world lightweight championship. He held that title from 1886 to 1893, a 7-year reign. He was also the first European boxer to retire as an undefeated world champion. Now, McAuliffe was a scientific, two-handed fighter, known for his speed, agility, and aggressive style. He relied on straight punches and was renowned for his quick reflexes and mastery of ring generalship. He fought during the transition period between bare knuckle boxing, and the adoption of the Marquis of Queensberry rules, adapting his style to both eras. Okay? And McAuliffe became the first lightweight world champion on October 29, 1886, by knocking out Bill Frazier. He got his nickname the Napoleon of the Ring due to his short 5'6" stature. Jack McAuliffe, okay? So then we go to junior lightweight, 130. Weight limit, 130 pounds. Okay? Junior lightweight, 130 pounds. There we go. That's Johnny Dundee. They call him Johnny the Scotch Wop Dundee. Now, Johnny Dundee was an American boxer and the first ever world champion in the junior lightweight division. He competed from 1910 to 1932, a 22-year career. He was inducted into the Ring Magazine Hall of Fame in 1957 and the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1991. Now, Dundee was a versatile and unpredictable master boxer, known for his speed, agility, and defensive skills, rather than punching power. He famously used an idiosyncratic move called the Scotch Whoop, where he would lean into the ropes and spring back with an attack. Despite his success, Dundee had little knockout power and was described as pillow-fisted. He recorded only 17 knockouts in over 200 fights. 200 wins. 17 knockouts and 200 wins. We gotta know that knockout rate. 17 knockouts and 200 wins. Wow. He had a knockout ratio of 0.8 in the negative. 0.8 knockout ratio. But he was a bad man, and he was the first junior lightweight champion. 130, right? Yeah. First junior lightweight champion. Okay? Now, he was a clever and strategic fighter who used every artifice of the ring to outwit his rivals. His style made for entertaining humorous and frustrating fights for his opponents, as many of them struggled just not to appear too ridiculous against him, right? Because he had a baffling style, and his opponents just struggled to not look ridiculous against him. And he is credited with creating the 130-pound weight class and claiming the inaugural championship on November the 18th, 1921. He defeated George Cheney by a fifth-round disqualification. Okay? Featherweight, 126 is the next. Ended the stream. Yeah, we're back. Wow. Almost ended the whole entire stream, man. Okay, yeah. Featherweight now. 126. First world champion in every weight division today. We're now at 126. Featherweight. Okay. And Narby Clark. Okay, that's Narby on the right, standing up. Narby Clark, 126. Until he fought way back there. The first officially recognized featherweight champion was Narby Clark when he defeated Jim Elliott in 1860. Now, while the division was established in 1860, it didn't gain wide acceptance until Ike Ware won the title in 1889. By defeating Frank Murphy. Okay? Now in the United States, the featherweight division weight limit fluctuated initially, with George Dixon, another early champion in the division, eventually moving the limit to 120 and 122 pounds before it was officially fixed at 126 pounds in 1920. Okay? Junior featherweight, 122 pounds. First champion. Junior featherweight. Back up to the modern era because that one wasn't created until the modern era. Rigoberto Riasco. There's Rigoberto. Also known as Little Poison. He was a Panamanian boxing champion from Panama City, Panama, who competed from 1968 to 1982. 14-year career. He was the lineal and WBC super bantamweight champion in 1976. Riasco defeated such boxers as Don Kayang Young, Leonel Hernandez, Rafael Ortega, Warren Nakayama, Luis Avila, Santos Luis Rivera, Seiji Flipper Uehara, and Sanjo Takamori. Some butchering went on in that little span. Rigoberto Riasco is recognized as the first champion in the junior featherweight division, which is also known as the super bantamweight division. Now, Riasco was known for its orthodox stance and as a hard-hitting fighter who used an accurate punching style, often overwhelming opponents with a two-fisted barrage. His style was also characterized by a high punch output and formidable punching power for his weight class. Now, this is kind of crazy here. I think this is the one. But it's understandable, too. Now, Riasco earned the inaugural junior featherweight championship on April 3rd, 1976 by an eighth-round stoppage of Warren Nakayama. Now, some historians recognize Jack Wolf as the division's first champion. Wolf defeated Joe Lynch in 1922 to claim his version of the title. Now, while that fight gave the division some early initial recognition, it soon fell into disuse, and the division wasn't revived for decades until the 1970s. Yeah, that wasn't the one that I was talking about. We come into it though, but yeah. A guy won the title in 1922, but it wasn't heard of again until the 1970s. So Rigoberto Riasco is recognized as the first champion in 122 junior bantamweight. Monsters division. Okay, so we go to bantamweight 118. First world champion ever in all 17 weight divisions. There's Little Chocolate right there. George Dixon. That's what they called him. Little Chocolate. He was a bad man. He invented a couple things. We're gonna get to it right now. I think jump rope, the heavy bag. Well, let's see. Bantamweight 118. George Dixon was a Canadian professional boxer from Nova Scotia, Canada. After winning the bantamweight title in 1890, he became the first ever black athlete to win a world championship in any sport. He was also the first Canadian-born boxing champion. Ring Magazine founder Ned Fleischer ranked Dixon as the #1 featherweight of all time. That's high praise. You got Salvador Sanchez, Willie Pep. Ned Fleischer ranked George Dixon as #1, and he saw him. He saw all of them. Well, no, Ned Fleischer might have died like the 70s. He might not have seen Sanchez, and he saw Pep too. Yeah, might not have seen Sanchez, but anyway, George Dixon was inducted into the Canada's Hall of Fame in 1955, the Ring Magazine Hall of Fame in 1956, and the big one, in the National Boxing Hall of Fame, as a first-class inductee in 1990, the inaugural year. Now, in 2018, Dixon was named one of the greatest 15 athletes in Nova Scotia's history, ranking #6. George Little Chocolate Dixon was a scientific boxer, known for his speed, defense, and ring intelligence. He pioneered techniques such as shadow boxing and using the suspended heavy bag. He also featured a strong jab, fast hands, and a powerful right cross, often combining jabs and feints to outmaneuver opponents and attacking the body. He was a true master of the art, a great ring general who combined technical skill with explosive counterpunching and surprising power, making him one of history's best small fighters. Okay? So, the first ever world bantamweight champion in boxing is considered to be George Dixon. Now, while he is credited with being the first bantamweight champion, he is primarily known for being the first black world champion in boxing and one of the first title holders in the featherweight division also. Now, Dixon won the inaugural bantamweight title on June 27th, 1890 with a stoppage of Newt Wallace. Okay? Got like 4 more. Junior bantamweight, 115. Rafael Arono. I think this is what I was talking about. This one in here is crazy, but it's understandable crazy. After I thought about it for a while. Okay. Come on, Rafael. There's Rafael Arono. Well, Lord. Rafael. There we go. Rafael Arono. 115 junior bantamweight or super flyweight. First world champion. Okay. Now, Rafael Arono is from Cumaná, Venezuela. His boxing career began early at age 11 as an amateur now. After a decorated amateur career, he turned professional in 1979. In 1980, the WBC created a new division called super flyweight or also known as junior bantamweight. And in a tournament held to crown an inaugural champion, Orono emerged victorious. Now, Rafael Orono was a power-punching boxer with an orthodox stance. He was known for its awkward and physical fighting style, which included using long, looping right hands. He was an aggressive fighter who focused on offense, but also incorporated defense. He was described as a lanky fighter for his weight class. He was also known as an exceptionally durable boxer who engaged in many hard battles during his career. On February 2nd, 1980, in the finale of the WBC tournament to crown the inaugural junior bantamweight world champion, Rafael Orono defeated Siang Hoon by a 15-round split decision. No, that wasn't it neither. Okay, flyweight, 112. Flyweight, 112. Okay, Sid Smith was the first champion at flyweight. Sid Smith was an English boxer from London, England. He competed as a professional from 1907 to 1919, a 12-year career. He was the first officially recognized BBFC British flyweight champion, holding the title from 1912 to 1913, and was also recognized by the International Boxing Union, the IBU, as the world flyweight champion in 1913. And yet the BBFC, the British Boxing Board of Control, and the IBU were big back then because, we didn't have the big four. And the two big sanctioning bodies of that era, the New York State Athletic Commission and the National Boxing Association, they weren't even formed then. So the BBFC and the IBU, especially the BBFC, was equivalent to like the British or the European Commonwealth title is nowadays. That was big. So that's why he's officially the flyweight champion. Now, Smith was a fast-moving boxer, known for his outstanding footwork rather than his punching power. He was not considered a hard hitter, but his agility and technical skill made him a successful fighter, particularly in the flyweight division. And he is the first official flyweight world champion in boxing. He was declared champion in 1911, and his fight with Eugene Cricky in 1913 was the first international flyweight championship fight. Smith won the fight by a 20-round unanimous decision. Jimmy Wall has also gained recognition as one of the early champions in the flyweight division. Okay, junior flyweight. This got to be the one I was talking about. 108. 108. One more after this. Junior flyweight. Franco Udella. Yeah, I believe this is it. Franco Udella. Let's do this. Franco Udella was an Italian boxer and former world champion from Cagliari, Italy. Udella turned professional in 1972 and won the newly created WBC Junior Flyweight Division Championship in 1975. Now, Udella fought primarily as a flyweight and light flyweight, which are divisions that are most known for speed and technical skill. Okay? Now, he also had a notable amateur career, winning a silver medal at the 1969 European Championships. Now, Udella won the first junior flyweight world championship on April 4th, 1975, when his opponent, Valentin Martinez, was disqualified in the 12th round of a scheduled 15-round junior flyweight title. Junior flyweight fight for the WBC title. Now listen to this. He was then stripped 4 months later in August for not defending the title against Paraguayan Rafael Lavera, who had never fought at the professional level. So how do you get stripped? How did a guy never fought at the pro level become your mandatory? But it's understandable because it was a new division. So not many fighters had fought in the division. Because first I was like, how you get stripped for somebody had somebody never make their pro debut yet? You're mandatory, but it was a new division. So it was a lot of fighters hadn't, hadn't fought at the division yet. So it's understandable when you think about it that way, because the division was just created and wasn't too many fighters in the division. So that's understandable. Now, the WBA also crowned their first junior flyweight champion in 1975 when Jaime Rios defeated Rigoberto Marcano by a 15-round decision. Now, Udella won the WBC version in April 1975, while Rios won the WBA version in August 1975. That's why Udella was a few months before and was officially the first champion in the division. And finally, minimum weight, 105. Last of the divisions, minimum weight, 105, was, Kyung Young Lee. Kyung Young Lee, okay? I think I'm gonna give it some Chinese food later. Just kidding. Kyung Young Lee, right? He's a former South Korean professional boxer, right? He's the first boxer to win world titles in the minimum weight division. Lee held the lineal minimum weight title from 1988 to 1989 and the IBF minimum weight title in 1988. Now, Lee fought in an orthodox stance and was a notable puncher for his division, known for his ability to secure knockouts. He was known for his durability and heart. In his loss to the highly regarded Ricardo Lopez, Lee went the distance in a 12-round fight, suggesting he had the toughness and resilience to withstand elite competition, even in defeat. Lee became the inaugural minimum weight champion on June 14, 1987, when he knocked out Masaharu Kawakami in the second round, winning the IBF strap minimum weight. Now, although the division was introduced at the 1968 Olympics as light flyweight, it wasn't officially recognized by major sanctioning bodies until the IBF title fight between Lee and Kawakami in 1987. Yeah, it had been recognized in the amateurs, but not at the professional level. Okay, let's review. Let's review every world champion. Every first world champion, that is. Okay. Heavyweight, John L. Sullivan, first world champion. Cruiserweight, Marvin Camel. Light heavyweight, Jack Root. Super middleweight, Mary Sutherland. Middleweight, John Edward Kelly, also known as the non-Perel Jack Dempsey. Junior middleweight, Denny Moyer, had a win against Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay. Welterweight, Patty Duffy. Junior welterweight was Pinky Mitchell. Lightweight at the junior welterweight, yeah. Lightweight was Jack McAuliffe. The junior lightweight, Johnny Dundee. Okay. Featherweight, Dobie Clark. Junior featherweight, Rigoberto Riasco. Bantamweight, George Dixon. Junior bantamweight, these are the first ever world champions. Junior bantamweight was Rafael Orono. Flyweight, Sid Smith. Junior flyweight, Franco Udella. And finally, minimum weight was Young Lee. So now let's look at the 10 longest title reigns in boxing history. Okay? Yeah, those were all of the first world champions in every weight division. Longest title reign. There's a man with the longest right there. We put him up there for this. The Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. There's the Bomber, the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. All right. I don't know, I can't get my microphone to work on the laptop. This phone sounds probably kind of funky, but we getting it in. We got a big Christmas show coming up. 12 days of boxing. Like the 12 days of Christmas. We got the 12 days of boxing coming up Christmas Day. When is that? Thursday? Say the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. I have to do it on my fingers. Yeah, Thursday is Christmas. We got the 12 days of boxing coming up Thursday. Big show. And we're going to have 12 of the greatest fights that happened within the 12 days of Christmas. Within 12 days of Christmas, 12 of the greatest fights. Okay? And we also got 12 of the greatest rounds. Oh, that's going to be Christmas Day, the 12 days of Christmas. Special Christmas show for y'all. This year. I don't know why I didn't find that last year. I'm glad I did now, because I can do it this year. But yeah. Big show coming up Thursday. Tune in. Got a couple football games on the 2 playoffs coming up. The Ravens ain't going to be in it. They need to get rid of Derrick Henry. He's good. But when he messes up, he messes up. I can directly see where he lost 4 games, at least 4 games this season. He lost that game yesterday. They was going on down the field, getting ready to be 14-0, and he fumbled. They're going to go down there and tie it up 77. That changes the whole complexion of the game. 14-0, 7-7. It changes how both teams play. And Derrick Henry fumbled the ball, man. He's good, but when he messes up, he messes up. You got to do risk reward, and his mess ups outweigh his talent. So if I was in Ravens management, he got to go, man. He got to go. He blew our season, man. Out there in that cold, watching that nonsense, and he fumbles in the first quarter, man. The thing just began to. People were still getting in the seats. Ravens was up 7-0. Headed for 14, and he fumbled the damn ball, man. The man knocked it out, but you know they trying to get it. You got to hold on to the ball. I was mad, man. God damn. But hey. Okay, 13 longest title reigns in the history of boxing. It was cold yesterday, too. And wind was humming. Y'all saw it on TV? Okay. You make it worthwhile if your team win. But then just give the game away? Come on, man. Make it hard for him. Derrick made it easy, just fumbled. They was going ready to go up 14-0, man. Came here and beat us. That's what's so messed up about us. We are 3-6. The Ravens are 3-6 at home this year. That's terrible. 3-6. The last 2 games on the road, Green Bay and Pittsburgh, they're probably going to lose both of them. To get in the playoffs now, before yesterday, all they had to do was win the rest of the games. Now they got to win both of their games, and Pittsburgh got to lose both of theirs. No way. But anyway, let's get to this. Now, in the contemporary era of boxing, where four prominent governing bodies, WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO, hold sway, it's not uncommon for even dedicated boxing enthusiasts to find themselves bewildered. Now, certain legendary boxers, like Floyd Mayweather Jr., achieved unbeaten records by maneuvering across weight divisions to claim additional titles, leaving lower weight divisions behind. Conversely, some fighters chose to remain within their weight class and embarked on iconic championship reigns, marked by numerous successful defenses against all challengers. Okay, let's take a look at them. The 13 longest title reigns in history. Number 13 is King Carlos Monzon. 6 years, 9 months, and 22 days. King Carlos reigned. He achieved 14 successful title defenses and held the WBA and WBC titles. Known for his formidable punching power, particularly his overhead right, King Carlos is often cited among the top middleweights of all time. He didn't lose for the last 13 years of his career. Carlos Monzon didn't. Okay? The Argentine superstar captured the WBA and WBC titles in 1970 by defeating Nino Benvenuti in a stunning 12th round knockout. Now, Monzon was known for his iron chin, relentless pressure, and devastating right hand, which allowed him to successfully defend his titles 14 times against elite opponents such as Emil Griffith, Rodrigo Valdez, and Benny Briscoe. His ability to control the pace of fights and neutralize his opponents with precision counterpunching made him nearly unstoppable during his reign. He didn't lose for the last 7 years, 13 fights of his career. Number 12, Jack Dempsey. 7 years, 2 months, and 19 days. The Manasseh Mauler. Dempsey became the world heavyweight champion in 1919 after defeating Jess Willett. Dempsey's fight set numerous attendance and financial records. First $2 million gate and first $1 million gate. Despite the lengthy reign, he only had 5 defenses because he took like 3 years off in between where he didn't fight. Dempsey was known for his aggression and knockout power. He successfully defended his title against formidable challengers like George Carpenter and Louis Firpo. But his decision to take a 3-year hiatus from the sport ultimately cost him. In 1926, he lost the championship to Gene Tunney before the famous long count rematch in which Dempsey knocked down Tunney. Despite losing the title to Tunney and the rematch, his popularity endured and even grew among the American public at the time. Number 11, Larry Holmes. 7 years, 3 months, and 12 days. These are some of the longest title reigns in boxing history. Larry Holmes. You hear the long one. He captured the WBC heavyweight title in 1978 by defeating Ken Norton. Successfully defended his title 20 times with wins over Ernie Shavers, Muhammad Ali, and Leon Spinks. Holmes was renowned for his masterful left jab, considered one of the best in the business, in the history of the business, right? Larry Holmes cemented his place in boxing history with one of the longest and most dominant heavyweight title reigns in history. His reign was defined by consistency and technical mastery in the ring, though he often struggled to gain the public adoration of his predecessors. Yeah, he came right behind Muhammad Ali. You know, that was hard. Holmes finally lost his title to Michael Spinks in 1985, bringing an end to a near unmatched era of heavyweight supremacy. Yeah, Holmes came behind Muhammad Ali. You know, no disrespect to Holmes, but that's like eating steak one day and then eating a pack of hot dogs the next day. You know, Holmes behind Ali. So that's why Holmes, you know, didn't get all the recognition he deserved. No heavyweight would have got the recognition reigning right after Muhammad Ali retired. You know, it's just what it was. Number 10, Omar Narvaez. Title reign for 7 years and 10 months. Omar. Okay. Come on, phone. Don't start acting up now. We're almost home. Omar Narvaez was an Argentine Olympian. He etched his name in boxing history by enjoying the longest reign of any flyweight champion, holding the WBA title from 2002 to 2019. He made 16 title defenses. He had a break in there somewhere, though, because it was 7 years straight. But 2002 to 2019, 16 title defenses. Okay. Okay, number 9, Ricardo Lopez, 8 years and 20 days. Benito. Ricardo Lopez stands among a select group of only 15 world boxing champions who concluded their careers without a single defeat. 16, because you got to add later Ali to it too. He is the parent of Alonzo Lopez. He was also an undefeated former boxer, his son. Benito's impressive reign as the WBC minimum weight champion from 1990 to 1998 saw him successfully defend this title against a record-breaking 21 opponents. He stands as one of the rare boxing champions to retire with an undefeated record. He had one draw. And the man that gave him the draw also got a split decision in the rematch. Okay, so everybody got that one person that's like their kryptonite. It's tough. His remarkable tally of 51 wins and no defeats has drawn comparisons to Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s 50-0. Despite competing in a division that may not have the same level of glamour and attention as some of the higher weight classes, his record stands among the greatest in boxing. He'd have been up around lightweight, welterweight. Ricardo would be a household name, but he fought at 105, so, yeah. Darius Michalczewski, 9 years and 1 month. These are some of the longest title reigns in history. 9 years. Okay, Michalczewski. Before turning pro, Michalczewski represented Poland in the 1988 Summer Olympics in Seoul, South Korea. After moving to Germany, Michalczewski obtained German citizenship and represented Germany in his professional boxing career. That was the knock on him. He didn't want to come out of Germany and fight nobody. Now, Darius Michalczewski, during his remarkable WBO junior light heavyweight title reign, achieved a tenure that ranks second only to Archie Moore in terms of its duration. Archie had 10 years, remember? Oh. For light heavyweight. Yeah, he came in second. Michalczewski did, to Archie Moore. Michalczewski's reign stretched. Bear with me for a second. Oh, here we go. It came back and then I exited. Oh my goodness. Come on. Okay. Here we go. We're going to get back in. Michalczewski. 13 longest title reigns in the history of boxing. As we looked at the first champion in each division, some divisional stuff today. Darius Michalczewski. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Michalczewski, second to Archie Moore in the light heavyweight division. We're going to go to the next one. Archie Moore is next. 9 years and 4 months. Rated just under 10. And then Archie took him 16 years to get a title shot, right? So when Archie got it, he said he knew if he lost it, he probably would never get another one. So he kept it for 10 years. Almost 9 years and 4 months. Mm-hmm. Archie Moore won 132 of his fights by knockout. That's number 2. Billy Bird got 139. We went over that last week, remember? Archie fought Muhammad Ali, then known as Cassius Clay, when he was 48 years old. And Archie had that same cross-arm, crab-like style of Ken Norton. And Ken gave Ali so much trouble, but Archie didn't because Archie was 48. Now, young Archie Moore would have gave Ali just as much trouble as Ken Norton did because they had the exact same style. Good jab, but Archie was 48 years old, right, when he fought it. Archie Moore, an American boxing legend, is celebrated as one of the pound-for-pound greats in the sport. He achieved the distinction of being the longest reigning world light heavyweight champion in history, maintaining his championship status for almost an entire decade. Remarkably, Moore's path to a title shot took 16 years, well, 15 years and some months, due to being avoided by the champions at the time, making his eventual title reign all the more impressive. At the age of 39, with over 160 fights in his career, he secured a championship victory by defeating Joey Maxim in a grueling 15-round fight. I know Archie said, finally. At the age of 41, Archie made a bold move to challenge Rocky Marciano for the world heavyweight title, suffering a defeat in a close fight. Nevertheless, he continued to excel in the light heavyweight division and remained as champion. He defended his belt the last time, avenging his loss against Julio Ronaldo in 1961, leaving a lasting legacy in the sport of boxing. And after Archie fought Rocky, he fought almost 30 more times and only lost once. Okay? Vladimir Klitschko, 9 years and 7 months. Klitschko represented Ukraine at the 1996 Olympics and won a gold medal. And Vladimir and his brother Vitaly defined the Klitschko era, both holding world titles. And like Al Booker said last week, one of the worst eras in boxing history. Might be the worst, but one of them. Top 2 or 3. Okay, no doubt about it. Vladimir Klitschko's place in boxing history is solidified by his remarkable records, including the longest cumulated heavyweight title reign ever, extending over 12 years. Yeah, he got the longest, but his was broken up. Joe Louis got consecutive. I ain't saying that word again. Joe Louis got consecutive. Vladimir got this one. What's up, Technique? Salute. Joe Louis got consecutive. Vladimir got this one. I ain't ashamed. I had trouble saying that. So let y'all read it. Joe Louis got consecutive. Vladimir got that one. Okay, salute Technique. How are you today? Yeah, we looked at the first world champion in each weight class, and then we just ended it off with looking at the longest reigns, not in each weight class, but like the longest 13 title reigns in history. Vladimir was up there. Okay. Then we had Chris John had a long. Chris John was over 10 years and 10 years and 1 month. Chris John reign. Okay. John is the 4th Indonesian boxer in history to win a world title. He retired after 52 fights, following the first and only loss of his career. Okay? That's when he retired, after his first and only loss. John is renowned for his exceptional reign as the WBA featherweight champion. He held the title from 2004 to 2013. He impressively defeated 16 opponents during that reign. Chris John. Bernard Hopkins, 10 years and 2 months. He beat Chris John by 1 month. B-Hop ended his boxing career at the age of 51, suffering a knockout loss to future world champion Joe Smith Jr. B-Hop broke his own record twice and broke George's once as the oldest boxer to win a world title. You know, he broke George's, he was 47, George was 45. Then he won it again at 48, then he won it again at 49. So he broke the record 3 times, his own record twice. B-Hop. Okay. We got Joe Kawasaki had 10 years and 11 months. Might as well say 12 years for Joe. Kawasaki ended his career by defeating Mikhail Kessler, Bernard Hopkins, and Roy Jones Jr. in his final 3 fights. B-Hop and Roy was the first time he fought outside of Great Britain, right? Johnny Kilbane, 11 years and 3 months. Wow. Kilbane only defended the title against 4 contenders during his tenure as champion. His unofficial record includes 143 fights and 110 wins, 24 by knockout, 80 newspaper decisions. Johnny Kilbane was an American featherweight. He achieved a remarkable feat by reigning as the world featherweight champion from 1912 to 1923, establishing the longest ever tenure in the division's history. In 1912, he captured the featherweight title in a grueling 20-round fight against Abe Attell. Notably, the boxing regulations of the early 20th century led to several no decisions during this title reign, where only a knockout or disqualification could result in his defeat. While Kilbane faced some setbacks during his historic championship run, including a third-round technical knockout against Benny Leonard, it's worth noting that these losses occurred outside his weight class, underscoring his dominance within the featherweight division. Yeah, so they shouldn't count because they weren't at featherweight, you know. And number one, Joe Louis, 11 years, 8 months, rounded off to 12 years. The Brown Bomber maintained his reign until his temporary retirement at the age of 34 in 1948. Now, he did take like 4 years off in during this reign to go to World War II. Okay, so he got kind of like a little asterisk by it because he didn't fight for 4 years. I think it was 1942 to 1946, right? But yeah, he still was champion technically for 11 years and 8 months, though. Okay. Now, yeah, he came back. His last win was before his first retirement, was a knockout over Jersey Joe Walcott. Then he came back. He only had one loss in his first career to Max Smelling in his prime. Then he came back. He got beat by Jersey Joe, and he also lost to Rocky Marciano. He had 3 altogether. Yeah, lost to Jersey Joe and Rocky and Max Smelling. Now, Joe Louis holds the distinction of the lengthiest championship reign in the entire history of boxing. His remarkable record includes a run of 26 consecutive title defenses, an unparalleled feat across all weight divisions. Louis ascended to the championship throne at the age of 23, securing the title with a knockout win over James J. Jeffries in 1937. That was his first win, first championship. Okay, and that almost didn't, right in the middle of that, Billy Conn almost had him beat, remember? So Joe Louis was almost not at the top of this list. Billy Conn almost ended all of that. We talked about that Friday, remember? Billy came out. Joe, it was 15 rounds, and after 12, Joe didn't need a knockout, but he needed to win 13, 14, and 15. He needed all 3 rounds, which he wasn't going to do because Billy was boxing beautiful. And no way, Joe Louis probably wasn't going to win none of those 3 rounds. He wasn't going to win all 3 of them, but then Billy came out in the 13th round and said, I'm going for the knockout. Forget outpointing Joe Louis. And then Billy and Joe sensed it, said, this man, Billy got out of his safe zone. And then he got caught. He was in that minefield. He couldn't get out of it. And, you know, Joe Louis, when he gets you hurt, he could be he's one of, or arguably the best finisher in boxing history when he gets you in trouble. So once he got Billy, that was it. But yeah, that streak was almost broken up right in the middle of it. Yeah, but it wasn't. Billy got greedy. Yeah. But I appreciate everybody, man. That was Monday. We got a big Christmas Day special. I'm going to call it a special. You know how they do on TV, the Christmas Day special on Cash Sports. Got 12 days of boxing. We got 12 of the greatest rounds. You know, on the first day of boxing, my true love brought to me Partridge in a Mickey Fricky Pear Tree or something like that. I don't know. And then a great first round. Okay. And we're going to do 12 rounds. And then we got 12 fights that occurred within the 12 days of Christmas. All these 12 fights occurred within 12 days of Christmas. That's going to be, what's today? 22nd? Again, I forgot already. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the 23rd, 24th. Christmas is Thursday. Right. So yeah, big show, Christmas special coming up. Football, Cash Sports. What a Christmas day it's going to be, man. Wow, can't beat that. NFL and Cash Sports? Man, can't beat that. Wow. Okay. Technique, Al Burger, Mike Mazik, The Drunk Irishman, Mike Rim, BBO Sports TV, Miss Cass. The NFL and Cash Sports? Come on, man. Okay, but yeah. Just Do Boxing is coming up next. And I appreciate everybody. Everybody have a great afternoon. Be safe out there. There's some crazy people out here in these streets, man. So watch out for them aliens. Okay? And now I can't get off the air. Now what else? Oh shit, man. I'm trying to the laptop, I'm not even on the laptop. Oh, excuse me, I'm on the phone. I'm all on the laptop trying to end this show. Gee, Christmas. Okay, yeah. Let me get out of here while I can because but we'll be back on the laptop tomorrow. Everybody have a great afternoon. Let's see. Trying to get off. Oh man, I'm still on. Okay, here we go.